EA Sports coverage of the National Football League is on the air. It's the first of 6 games here on Super Wildcard Weekend, and we are underway on EA Sports. And that's not going to be returned, as so many kicking teams elect to do. This is past the landing zone, and we'll start at the 30. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. They'll start this drive out on the ground. Oh, a nifty juke there.
Not much fun for a guy trying to tackle him.
And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled. A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10. To throw is Nix. And he's going to find his man out of the backfield. That's complete. And he's going to be out down inside the 20 at the 15. 39 yards the distance covered on the catch and run.
We expected this defense to be tested by this passing game coming into this one. And there's an example on this first possession of the game.
To throw, here's Nix. And he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
I think he had to unload that one before he wanted to. He was right up in his grill. I think he was a dentist there without a license, don't you?
Just not enough time for the play to develop. Just lucky it wasn't a fumble, really. Throwing Nix. And he fumbled it. It's on the ground. We hear them discuss red zone efficiency a lot, CD, and they almost gave that one up in the red zone. Luckily, they'll have another shot.
And you and I both know that every offensive coordinator, play caller in the league, they take particular delight in their red zone calls because those are the payoff ones. But you can't call a play if your team doesn't have the ball. Got to secure it.
They only got 2, but that was enough as they'll convert to make it 1st and goal. Now they send a man in motion right. They'll fake it on the jet sweep, and instead a handoff up the middle. And a hard-earned yard there as he ran through one would-be tackler. It's 2nd down. So the ball position now at the 3. Here's 2nd and goal. Now it's Nix. And that is caught. Touchdown, Denver. From 3 yards out. And the Broncos will strike first here, this wild card matchup. Will Lutz on for the point after. And he's got it. 7-0 Broncos.
Next to score, Broncos 7, Texans nothing. Will Lutz to kick off for the Broncos.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets them to 2nd and 4.
Brandon, to me, what's important right here on this drive is for them to get at least 2 first downs. They've got to give their defense a chance to settle down, catch their breath a little bit after they give up a touchdown on the opening drive.
There they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And space tough to come by there as he'll get maybe a yard to the 37. But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Coming up here looking for 3 yards to pick up the first.
Let's go now.
They're able to convert with a gain of 4.
Well, partner, none of these runs individually have added up to a whole lot.
Now 3 plays, all 3 short runs, but together a 1st down.
Yeah, it's amazing how the narrative changes when you string them together.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. He'll get just a yard on the scramble. It's second down.
That's an early scramble that can be viewed positively by either side. From the offensive point of view, it begins to establish it as a possibility to keep it on certain plays. And defensively, they avoided giving up a huge play in one of their first tests in containing a quarterback on the run.
And 3 yards there takes him to the 45. The completion on first didn't get much, and now the run on second doesn't get a whole lot either.
Well, if you're a good play caller, you've already looked ahead and anticipated this type of situation. Already down in his play sheet, trying to dial up a big third down play.
Pass taken in by his big tight end. And they're well past midfield, just a yard or two shy of the 40. They get 14 on that one. Good for a Houston first down.
Well, a lot of times when you get a manageable third down situation like this, you have to think about your tight end, and he comes through for him, picking up the first down.
On first down, they'll go to the ground. Oh, he's hit. He lost the football. Put it on the carpet. It's picked up by the Broncos. And the possession is theirs at their own 43-yard line.
Do you remember in preseason we were going to the different training camps and visiting teams, and we always would see the running?
And now, as with every potential turnover, they're going to take a second look at this just to make sure. The fumble on first down. Now here's second down. They'll run here with a rookie. And give him 6 yards here as he stopped near the 35 at the 34.
Brandon, all things considered, they have to feel pretty good about getting that type of a gain considering the blitz that they just had against them.
And they'll let their fullback try and push the pile. And he's brought down short. 2 yards there, needed 4.
Well, there was a trust factor in that call, turning and handing it to the big man in the backfield, trying to pick up the first down. But how about the defense? They were ready for him, and they were able to stop him.
After 7-0 on EA Sports.
Broncos 7, Texans nothing.
Ready for the second quarter from Houston. It's the Texans. So they'll say no to the 50-yard field goal try. Instead, the offense out there, they're going for it. They'll try and run for it. And he's got the first as they'll bring him down at the 28-yard line. Remember, that was fourth and a full 2 yards. There's a big difference between that and fourth and maybe 6 inches or a yard.
Yeah, you're exactly right, because when it's that 6 inches, you just fall forward and you pick it up, right? You just go quarterback sneak. But having to move bodies, that means you actually have to execute because they know what you're going to do. How are you going to make the right play call and get everyone into the right spot and win at the line?
And he'll take this one in for a Texans touchdown. A great play there. 28 yards. And the Texans are an extra point away from evening this one up.
Well, partner, that was another explosive run, and one thing I've learned in our time in this game, yes, the offensive line has to get a lot of credit, but for big runs to occur, the wide receivers have to block well downfield.
And then you have to have a good guy carrying the ball too, right?
Oh, without a doubt, you need that difference maker lugging the rock.
Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. A lane opens here. He's past the 30. And good starting field position. He'll get this one all the way up to about the 35-yard line. Denver offense at the line, ready to go. So both of these teams, Charles, coming off touchdowns now, but this offense, they just had to stand on the sideline, watch the... And that's caught inside the 30. And all the way home for a Broncos score. A great effort there. 65 yards. And the Broncos have taken the lead. Lutz with the extra point. And that makes the score 14-7.
Texans 7,
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. So 1st and 10 now from the 30. Now they'll change things up. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. And the Broncos get there and take him down. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game. Defense went 3-4. They got some push from the inside.
And this is something in a 3-4 you don't normally get, because the nose tackle who got the sack, he's usually responsible or ends up getting
under pressure. They got him again. Ed Oliver in there again as he's able to pick up sacks on both 1st and 2nd down.
So, Brandon, we sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
Now on 3rd and long, they'll look to throw. Got a man. It's Collins, complete. So 5 yards here, 5 on the play. And it'll be 4th down. Here's Tommy Townsend on to punt. That's taken on the 25. A 45-yard punt, 4 there on the return. And the Broncos take over, 1st down and 10. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Well, partner, you know, coaches always say that every play is designed to score a touchdown. Sometimes that's not really true, but last drive, that was the case. One play to get into the end zone, and now they'll try to duplicate that success here.
And it's rare for those moments to happen. Incredible when they do. And you saw the celebration. Pure, unbridled joy after that one.
Short throw caught by Dulcich, and he's going to be knocked down hard at the end of that one.
I know I spent a lot of time talking about how tight ends in a lot of cases now are pumped up wide receivers, but they're still big people. He used that frame right there to absorb a really big hit on him and held on to the ball.
Sliding out of the pocket. Toward the sideline, and look at that catch. Dragging the toes, and that's first down. Well done. So the challenge there does not go their way. This will indeed remain a completed pass. On play action, here's Nix. That one out wide and intercepted. And the Texans are going to take over at their own 41. He's continuing to be a big presence defensively. Remember last week, AFC Defensive Player of the Week, and a big pick right there.
And when you pile up big numbers, it gets everyone's attention. But sometimes the number just needs to be, how many game-changing plays did you make? Did you take the ball away from the other team? He just did that, trying to win the award again this week.
And he'll toss this one incomplete. Seeing no options, he throws it away.
Well, congratulations to them. They come through defensively with another stop. And let's face it, this secondary, they've gone unchallenged so far in the first half.
On 2nd down, they'll run it here. And he'll be taken down just shy of midfield. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there. They'll come to the line, needing only 2 yards to gain the first here. Here comes Brooks. And able to pick up the first across midfield to the 47. Just 4 yards on the pickup, but that's good enough to extend the drive.
And how about that on 3rd down? So many different directions an offense can go. Throw it out wide to the receivers, get it to their speedy running back. They changed up everything and handed it to the fullback, and he surprised them all and picked up a 1st down.
And some room to roam now. And he is out of bounds, but not before he's inside the 30. 40 yards rushing for him now. He's only carried the ball 4 times. 2 minutes to play here in this first half of the NFL playoffs. We remind you that coming up in 2 minutes' time, we'll hand you off to Orlando, where Jonathan Coachman will have highlights and analysis of this first half of action. Here's a handoff out of the gun. What a great effort there. He's going to get this inside the 15, and they'll spot it at the 13-yard line. Nice run. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts. So as they talk it over, we step aside. From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. This carry, despite the extra effort, will be stopped short of the 10. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. 2nd down and 8. One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. Now the Broncos will use their 3rd and final timeout as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. Chalk that up as a 4-yard loss, and now it's 3rd down. We'll see what they have drawn up here. A little bit behind the line. 12 yards needed to gain a 1st down. On 3rd down, he'll drop to throw. He'll be hit and taken down at the 21. More than one defender there, and that's a loss of 5 on the sack. So on 4th down, Texan kicker Kaimi Fairbairn comes on. From the right hash, it's a 38-yard attempt. Fairbairn able to put this one through. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So, Charles, they get to them with their first turnover of the game and then make it hurt a little bit extra with a field goal.
And anytime you give the ball up, what's the first thing a coach tells his defense? Don't let them score off of this. You've got to put out the fire. In fact, in 2021, that's what one NFL coach termed his defense. The firemen. Go out there, guys, and don't let them put some points on the board.
Denver offense at the line, ready to go. And not an abundance of time remains on the clock, Charles, but you would think more than enough to try to extend this lead before intermission.
And when you're talking about extending the lead, I think you're talking about aiming for the end zone because there is plenty of time for that. The fallback is to get 3. But in your mind, you put 6 on the board right before the half. That's a heck of a dagger and great momentum to carry into the locker room.
Nix to the air. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
But that's what they have to do more of defensively, not just getting sacks, but they have to keep getting in his face, not let him get his feet set and deliver. He's been carving them up previously.
Yeah, already has a couple of touchdown passes. About time they put a few grass stains on that jersey. And got his man complete. And all the way down to the 39. So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. Firing quickly here, and that's complete. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. First catch of this wild card game for a 1,000-yard receiver in the regular season. He's got a 1st down, too. Here's Nix. And this is caught for a Bronco touchdown. A great play there as the first half is winding down. And the Broncos would extend their lead here just before halftime. And now, of course, all scoring plays are reviewed, and I think they're going to take an extra long look at this one. So they called it a touchdown originally, and this will stay a touchdown after the video review, so they had it right. Lutz good on the extra point, and that makes it a 21-10 game. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And no run back forthcoming, so this will come out to the 30. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. And with time quickly fading here in the second quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
They'll look to throw here on first down. He's got it to Collins, complete. He's going to be brought down there in the field of play, and the clock will run, no timeouts. They will not have the chance to bring out the field goal unit.
First and 10 at the 14-yard line.
And we welcome you back live now inside the booth alongside Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, set and ready to rock for the third quarter. Both teams try to avoid being one and done in these playoffs as we start the second half of this AFC wildcard game. And here comes a return from the middle of the end zone. And the decision to bring it out, kind of a costly one, as he won't make it back to the 20. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. And right out of the gate, they face what you'd think could be a pretty important drive.
I would say so. You know, they're down 2 scores. That's not the end of the world. It wasn't the strongest of first halves, but for them to start clawing back, they've got to start putting a little pressure on that defense, start cutting into this deficit. You can't have 3 and outs and expect to get that done.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And not much there at all, as he'll get this only up to about the 11.
Brings up second down.
He'll look to throw. And he's taken down. Back at his own 7. Ed Oliver able to disrupt yet another pass play. That is his 3rd sack of the afternoon.
So one quick, easy analysis about why they've struggled so far. They keep putting themselves in 3rd and long situations. They just took another sack right there.
And the offensive film session tomorrow may be a little longer than it normally is.
Not a lot of positive grades will be handed out thus far.
Oh, that's into double coverage and intercepted. Picked off by Drew Sanders.
As they started that drive, I think they looked at the scoreboard and said, this is a manageable deficit, guys, but let's go ahead and start cutting it down right here. Instead, an interception happened, so a 2-possession game might become 3. So as we get going here in the second half, this could rapidly reach.
And he'll get in. Touchdown, Denver. Taking it in from 2 yards out. And the Broncos continue to pull the playoff surprise as they lead big here on the road. Lutz with the extra point, and the lead is up to 18 now.
Texans 10. Will Lutz to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And here comes a return from a few steps into the end zone. And he's able to get this across the 20, but not by much, as he's marked down officially at the 21. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. I kind of feel like they've reached a do-or-die point in this game, Charles. If they're going to try to pull off an impressive comeback, it has to start right here, right now.
Yeah, now they've got a final chance to get out of this situation, but they also understand they've got to move the ball and move it fast. In addition, they need to save as much time so they can get 2 more possessions.
Able to get the 1 yard he needed, but nothing more.
It's a gain of a yard. That's good for a Texans.
Now back to throw. Oh, hit as he throws there, incomplete.
Maybe a little frustration starting to creep in. The offensive line hasn't done a great job of protecting him in this game, and there he was, hit again as he threw it.
Yeah, another time on his backside, probably starting to get a little frustrated.
Got to keep his composure. Can't let the defense know that they're getting to him.
On the ground, here's Brooks. And he'll be limited to a short gain up to about the 34-yard line. He'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. Pretty good little 2-play sequence there. You force the incompletion, then a very short pickup.
Yeah, now maybe you bring in an extra defensive back or 2 because you want to try and defend on 3rd down. They like to play those nickel or sub packages, don't they?
He'll look to throw. Work in the middle of the field, and he's got a man complete. And he is going to have a Texans first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. So after 2 first downs, they get another here. 1st and 10 at the 45. And he's got it across midfield and into Denver territory. 59 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
Not too many offenses want to turn down long drives, but when you're down what they are, they've got to pay it off with some points.
2nd and 4. Looking for his running back, and he's got him. This offense in desperate need of a conversion as they come up on 3rd down. Looking to throw. He's got his target. That's complete. And this is going to be another 1st down as they'll make the tackle at the Broncos' 31-yard line. Back to throw here. He finds his target. It's Schultz. And they'll work it inside the 15-yard line before it's all said and done. Hands it off out of the gun. He takes us down to about the 12 for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7. They'll drop to throw. Flushed out right. And he's able to get it down to the 2-yard line. 1st and goal, and they got to be thinking a chance to get right back into this football game. And he pushes forward but comes up short of the goal line as he'll get a yard down to about the 1.
It's a gain of a yard. Brings up 2nd and goal.
Now a give to Collins. And he gets halfway there down to the 1-yard line. Now a timeout called for by the offense. It's just their first, so 2 remaining as they burn 1 here in this 3rd quarter. 3rd down and goal. This Denver defense trying to hold up for 1 more play. They'll try to run this one in. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston. A touchdown run there from a yard out. And the Texans are able to cut into this deficit here in the final minute of the 3rd. No, CD, there didn't seem to be much resistance there down near the goal line.
Yeah, partner, from what I saw there, not a real good job of matching up defensively because to me, they look like they were just in their base 3-4 package. You need bigger bodies in there in a goal line type situation. The 3-4 fine between the 20s, but not down here when you're guarding your end zone.
Out is the Texans kick team as they'll send this one away. And we will not have a return. They'll bring this to the 30.
30-yard line.
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. Their lead down to 2 scores after the touchdown a moment ago as they start with a 1st and 10. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. They'll lose a yard there, and it's 2nd and 11. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. Found a little room there as he's up to about the 37.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
Now this will probably be the last play of the quarter. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. He's going to let this one go deep. And that one knocked away and incomplete. Nice job defensively on what will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. Back now in Houston, it's Bronco football, and they also have the lead here as we get set for the 4th. And with things looking pretty good on the scoreboard, they're going to keep the offense out there and go for it here on 4th. They'll go for it. Here's Nix. And intercepted. Maybe the turning point they need. And they'll set up shop right near midfield at the 49-yard line. That is the play they needed in a 2-score game here in the 4th quarter.
No doubt about it. They did what they had to do to give themselves a chance to get back into the game. They turned it over to the offense. They are now in charge.
Now they need to execute. And he powers through the first wave, but he's going to be swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage.
Part of the thinking when you bring in extra tight ends, you're hoping that each of your guys gets those one-on-one blocks and creates a crease for your runner. You know what the converse is, though? You've got to win those one-on-one blocks, and when you don't, that's the result you end up with.
From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. To the right side and intercepted. Picked off by Drew Sanders. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And he takes this one back into the end zone. And the Bronco defense has a touchdown. Lutz good on the extra point. And the lead is up to 18 now.
Broncos 35, Texans 17. Will Lutz to kick off for the Broncos.
So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick six. And now the kick is away. And no run back here. That's going to be a touchback. And we'll bring it out to the 30-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. They are most likely staring at a cold end to their season here in this wild card round. Nothing has gone. And he's going to be intercepted a third time. Derek Stingley picks it. And the return will be stopped at the 34-yard line. Another solid game-changing play for this defense with the interception. At this point, though, I don't know that it's game-changing. I mean, they've got this one in firm control.
And you always hear about, you know, those stories about someone left their game plan behind and maybe you benefit from it. I'm not going to say that that happened, but they certainly have appeared on defense to be a step ahead this entire game. Guys are open.
And he's going to be intercepted for the third time thus far. Picked off by Christian Harris. And the Texans will take over here at their own 14-yard line. Well, that interception at least offers them a glimmer of hope here in the fourth quarter.
It certainly does if their offense goes out now and makes it pay off by getting into the end zone. And if it does, then they get a chance to get back out on the field and try and do it again. Maybe they can force that offense into more and more mistakes and give them a chance to get.
And he's going to be brought down back at his own 6-yard line. Baron Browning, the blitz works to perfection as he gets in there to dump him for a loss of 8.
At the 6-yard line.
Got to imagine the pass rush will be equally intense here on second down following the sack. It's 2nd and 18. They'll set up to throw. And that will be incomplete. Trying to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be third down. Now a shotgun snap as they'll look to throw. Trying to stretch the field with Schultz. And his pass is intercepted for the 4th time today. Picked off by Drew Sanders. And he's able to get it back to right around the 27. Well, this is one heck of an individual performance we're witnessing. That is now his 3rd interception. And keep in mind, folks, this isn't a safety or a cornerback. This is a linebacker.
Does this feel to you like he's having a flashback? Because a lot of these linebackers we see in the NFL, in high school, they were offensive stars. They touched the football all the time. It's like he said to himself, let's go back and put on the leather jacket and go get the football. How about this one? 3 interceptions.
Complete in the end zone. Kamari Lassiter on the coverage.
So that challenge not successful there, and that's going to cost him the first of his timeouts. And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. This is caught. Touchdown. A great effort there. He scored on the ground and through the air. And the Broncos are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Lutz with the extra point, and they open the lead up now to 25.
42. Texans 17. Will Lutz to kick off.
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And no chance to see a return on the dynamic kickoff. They'll move this out to the 30-yard line. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. Well, this game, it has had no shortage of offense. They've been able to put up a decent amount of points on this side, Charles. They just have not been able to keep pace with the other offense they're going against here.
Yeah, that's a good way of pointing things out because now it's not a total loss because, as you said, they've scored some points, so there's some plays they can build on, moments where the game plan actually worked. But overall, though, they were just out-personnel. They were going up against a team that's playing at an elite level.
A short one going to be taken in here by Schultz. It'll be a gain of 5, and it'll be second down. Again, he'll drop to throw. And, oh, my goodness, here's a 5th interception. Oh, they try a lateral on the return, and now the ball's loose. Call it luck or skill, whatever the case is. They're feeling good about just keeping the football there.
Yeah, the biggest thing that they're calling it now, our ball. I mean, they don't care if it was luck or skill. Boy, the panic that jumps up in your chest when that ball's on the ground, whether you get it or your teammate get it.
And they're going to get to him, a sack. Sacked back at the 9-yard line. Now from the 9, here's 2nd and goal. He'll drop to throw. And that's going to be knocked away in the end zone. It's incomplete.
Well, he certainly thought he had a window to push that ball downfield, but as soon as he released the throw, the corner was there to slam that window shut.
3rd and goal, trying to make that scoreboard at least a little more respectable. And he is going to lose yardage here. That'll make it 4th down after a loss of 1.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty, but when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Got to try it here. He's back to throw. And now here is another interception. And the Broncos are going to get the ball back on the turnover. They hold on 4th and goal. Well, all I can do up here is just shake my head. I mean, 6 interceptions. I cannot imagine what he's thinking between the ears right now.
Well, just think of how it is for his teammates, because after the first few, you know they're going over to him, hey, we'll get them next time. Now they're probably a little bit frustrated. And if you're a receiver, you're thinking to yourself, any ball that's in the air, you become receiver and defensive back. You've got to go compete for the ball so that you don't get another one picked off.
He'll get a nice chunk there on the 1st down run, and it's 2nd and 4.
If you're in the offensive huddle, you're smiling after that play because you've certainly got them guessing now. 2nd and short, could they just hand it off for another big gain? Or do they take advantage of this spot to take a big shot downfield?
And he'll be taken down at the 18. They give him about 4 on the play, but he's marked short, so it'll be 3rd and about the length of the football. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair. Off the play fake, Nix. Oh, this is taken in. It's complete. Down the right sideline, and he will get into the end zone. It's another touchdown. This thing is ugly. They talked about stringing together some explosive plays here in the playoffs. That was a pretty explosive play.
It certainly was, and if you're going to win on the road, it certainly helps to have big playability in your hip pocket, doesn't it?
After the touchdown, Lutz to kick it off. And not willing to risk a return. This ball's going to come out to the 30-yard line. The Texans offense ready to go here for their next drive. Saying their fans here are stunned would be an understatement. Things in this wild card round have not gone according to plan. And my goodness, another interception. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. Well, they've got the huge lead. Now they have another interception on the defensive side. Seems like everything they touch in this one, Charles, turns to gold.
And they have to be awfully happy right there to get what appears to be one more for the road. It helps seal away one of their best efforts of the season.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
I like the call there because that was one to take time off the clock and get them closer to getting out of here with a W. In the mind of the play caller, All you want to hear is tick, tick, tick.
And he is met in his tracks behind the line of scrimmage. He'll lose a yard on the play, so now they need 3 yards on 3rd down. Now it's Nix. He lets this one fly toward the back of the end zone. And oh no, it's incomplete. Well, it's a touchdown if he holds on, but somehow took his eyes off of it, falls to the ground, and brings up 4th down. They're going. It's Nix. And it's going to be batted down. It will go the other way with the football. The Broncos unable to convert here on 4th. And this Texans defense stands tall. Houston's offense already at the line, set to get going. They are just obviously getting shellacked here in this one, Charles. What's the message if you're a coach for this fight? And that's caught inside the 30. Touchdown, Houston. Nico Collins, 68 yards. And the Texans get a small measure of revenge as they cut into this 4th quarter deficit.
Look, we all know that sometimes we see upsets in the wild card round, but I have to tell you, in this case, I did not see that coming.
I don't think anyone in the stadium saw it coming. You and I were coming in before the game. There was a couple in front of us talking about travel plans for next weekend. They might want to cancel those.
Yeah, I would say so, because right now it's looking more and more that they're going to be one and done. They're probably trying to call the hotel and make sure they get their security deposit back.
And the Broncos are going to get the football. Well, CD, you understand. I mean, they're so eager trying to get back in this game here the 4th quarter, but they touched that one a little too early before it went 10 yards.
Brandon, in such a high-stakes scenario, everyone's feeling the pressure on this play. The special teams coordinator, which one is he going to pick in terms of kicks? Can the kicker execute it? Can the team wait for 10 yards? So many variables, and in this case, they didn't get it done.
And this is incomplete. Oh, he had 6 points right in his hands, but could not hang on. And it's incomplete. Still throwing to the very end, but now this game is over. Getting into the playoffs is one thing. Now they get to move on. Just 8 teams left.
The dream stays alive. Everyone's gunning for the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate. But you have to get there in incremental steps. One win today gets them one step closer.
So that'll do it for us. For Charles Davis and all our crew, I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. So long from Houston.